Residents of Kaswa Millennium City are accusing CEO of 21st Century Construction Company of unauthorized demolition, and they are still protesting. Joy News' Derek Ekosam, who is following this development, reports that at least one person is feared injured. He also spoke to some of the residents. Well, we'll try and reach our reporter Derek Ekosam, who's covering that beat, and we understand that the police have arrived to restore calm. We'll be going there and as and when we get him, but we'll move on to other stories. And some residents of Adum Estate at Kaswa in the central region say they will be forced to relocate due to the incessant armed robbery attacks on them. This is coming 3 days after they burned to death one of a suspected armed robber. Beatrice Edu has been to the community and joins us on the telephone line. Beatrice, what's the latest where you are?
Kemini, let me say that the residents at least every 3 days attack them with guns, machetes and knives. And the latest was on Tuesday, where, like you rightly said, where they attacked at least 4 people in a particular area. One of the victims told me that he was attacked when his wife and 4 children were sleeping. That was around 1 a.m. Fortunately, he was not hurt because he did not resist them. But they made away with his money, laptop, and phones. And the situation, let me say, is compounded by the fact that the this community are very bad.
And Beatrice, from your interaction with them, were they able to tell you about police patrols in the area?
Unfortunately, they couldn't tell me much about that. What they said was that they are really scared about what's going on, and they are thinking of relocating if the police does not, step up patrols in their community.
Have you been able to contact the police, and what are they saying?
The police are saying they are doing what they can to deal with the situation in the area.
Beatrice, kindly explain to us what they mean by they are doing what they can, because the residents are relocating because of the robberies. I'm afraid we've lost Beatrice Edu there, but she was bringing us those details from that story. Now, the Bono Ahafo Regional Security Council has formally appealed to the Bank of Ghana to reconsider defreezing the accounts of associations and fund clubs in the region after they have submitted the necessary list of depositors and their respective deposits. Presenting a statement on behalf of RegSec after a crunch meeting on the suspension of operations of microfinance and fund clubs by the Bank of Ghana, the Bono Ahafo Regional Minister Eric Opoku stressed that the exercise by the BOG is in the interest of the people, therefore should not be misconstrued. The Bono Ahafo Regional Security Council convened the crunch meeting with stakeholders to discuss the implications of the suspension of the operations of such MFCs and fund clubs at Sunyani. Chairman of RegSeg and the Bono Ahafo Regional Minister Eric Opoku outlined the decisions taken shortly after the meeting at a press conference.
RegSeg wishes to place on record that the exercise being undertaken by the Bank of Ghana is in the supreme interest of the people to protect them from losing their investment, and it should not be misconstrued. Bank of Ghana wishes to state that the government has no hand in it, but it is purely being undertaken by the Bank of Ghana as the regulators. We are using this platform to appeal to the media that they should be cautious in making announcements and advertisements for associations to ensure that they have the necessary certificates or licenses, or will be jointly held responsible for the activities of illegal institutions. Similarly, the public should be cautious of institutions who are offering high and unsustainable interest rates, as they are potential Ponzi schemes. Where customers are in doubt, they can contact the Bank of Ghana regional office for assistance.
Any media house found advertising any product without a certified FDA accreditation document will be surcharged 25,000 Ghana cedis. That's the new directive by the Food and Drugs Authority as it embarks on a drive to rid the nation of substandard or unaccredited products. The authority believes halting the advertisement of these substandard and uncertified products will help in their quest. Matilda Wemeka has more.
The FDA's head of drug enforcement, Thomas Amejo, says advertising has become the biggest challenge in enforcing the standards and regulation of the FDA. He noted that registering a product does not make it legitimate to be advertised, stressing that a product needs to be scrutinized to ensure its efficacy before an approval is given for advertisement.
The media houses are to ensure that the products, that the advertisement that are brought, the products in the first place are registered products. We give approval letters for registration. They must check that to be sure that the person who is bringing that product for advertisement, for instance, has approval, the product is registered. Secondly, that the advertisement has been approved by the FDA. That one also, we issue a letter to that effect, which is signed by the chief executive of the FDA, and then attached is the script of the advert, the approved advertisement, and which is also signed and sealed by the FDA, which is attached to that letter. So the media organization should ensure that this evidence is there, that the advertisement has been actually approved by the FDA. If they are in doubt about that, they can still check with the FDA before they allow the advert to be passed through their media. Those who will be recalcitrant, there will be sanctions. In the law, and it's prescribed in the law, it's not arbitrary. The law allows us to prosecute you and also to slap administrative charges. You can be arrested, you can be prosecuted, possibly you can be jailed, you can be fined, and then we have administrative fine option also, and that is the minimum of 25,000 Ghana cedi for any infringement.
Mr. Mejo urged media houses to collaborate with the FDA to ensure only certified products are advertised on their platforms.
Now let's return to the demolition at the Millennium City, where our reporter Derek Sam is, and he joins us on the line right now. Eko, what's the latest on the protest there?
Yes, Francisca, if you can hear me, temperatures are high currently at the council of Millennium City, and that is because one of the residents has been shot by some military men. The residents earlier in the day decided to hold a news conference to address certain concerns. According to them, one man, they say, Skopi Asma, who is also the CEO of 21st Century Construction Limited, is pulling down buildings in the area. So they decided to protest the demolition of one of such buildings in the area. So,
Eko, just hold it one bit. Let's get an understanding. You say that one person is injured or dead. Can you clarify?
One person is dead. Two others are critically injured. They have been rushed to the hospital.
Tell us what's led to the death and the injuries.
Well, so the residents here were protesting the demolition exercise. And so they marched to one place where one such demolition was taking place. And then as they were on their way, they were stopped by some military men. The residents disobeyed. And so some warning shots were fired. 3 warning shots were fired into the air. And as the residents started to find a place of solace, they realized that one of them was lying on the ground with blood oozing out of his head. They came closer to realize that one of them had been shot dead. As whoever shot the person, but the military men here are the only people with the gun. So the residents are suspecting that somebody from the military command actually shot the person. So one person is dead, 2 others are injured. As I speak to you now, temperatures are high. The atmosphere is tense.
It may be too soon, but do we know? Have you been able to find out who this person dead, and then 2 others, who they are?
Well, it's difficult for them to give me information, but from what I'm seeing on the ground, one person is dead, 2 others are injured. The residents are actually preventing the military men from moving out, so they've lined up some blocks as a barricade to prevent them from going. As I speak to you now, some police personnel from both the Kaswa and Millennium City Division Command are in to calm tempers down. As I talked to you also, they are in a meeting with the military personnel. One thing that the residents are also asking is why the military men came in with cars that have no numbers on them. And as I got closer to speak to the military men, I also realized that their uniforms have no names on them and they have no rank on their uniforms as well.
Okay, and we'll be keeping our eyes on that meeting. Eko, let's get to the bones of this matter. There was supposed to be a press conference that turned into a protest. How come?
Yes, they actually wanted to meet the press to tell them of their intentions. They wanted to protest, as I have said. They wanted to protest the demolition of buildings in the area by a man they call Kofi Asmai. I'm also being told that he's the CEO of 21st Century Construction Limited. And so the news conference turned into a protest. The protest has turned bloody. The residents are angry. They won't allow the military men nor the policemen to have their way.
And then those who are pulling down this home, or the man in charge of the city, Millennium City, where is he?
Well, he hasn't been here. He's not showed his face. And I think that most of the residents are angry. Some are threatening to lynch him. Should he show his face yet? And so I guess that's the reason he's not showed up here as I talk to you.
So I can hear from the background noises of people coming from people. Does that mean that they haven't dispersed? The residents are still converged around this place?
The residents have been dispersed. It's gradually becoming a vigil or a picketing. I must say. They say they won't leave until justice is done. As to what form of justice they want, I can't really tell. But they're also in talks. One of them is their leader, Saliki Bahiro. He's actually meeting the commander of the Kaswa Police Force, ASP Samuel Punyobin. So he's in a meeting with them and also with the other people from the military command as well.
Okay, Derek, Sam, keep safe. We'll be coming to you for more updates and subsequent bulletins, but thank you very much. This is Joy News Today with me, Francisca Kakra-Force, and let's take a break right now. Hello, welcome back to Joy News Today with me, Francisca Kakra-Force. You remember Charles Entry? He was sentenced for possessing a gun unlawfully and given a 10-year sentence, and that was quashed. We told you that story. Now, we understand that the documentation for his release has been processed, and I'm joined in the studio by Lateef Idris, who's just returned from the High Court. Lateef, tell us more.
Yeah, we expected Charles Entry to be out of prison by the end of this week, but that hasn't happened. As we speak, he is still in prison. Now, I went to the High Court, and information I gathered was that they had some challenges as far as the documentation was concerned. Now, today, they finalized everything, and it's up to his lawyer, that is Francis Xavier Sosu, to come over to the court, pick it up, and serve. He has to serve 4 institutions. First, he needs to get the AG, the Prison Service, BNI, and then the Mental Health Authority. So now the court has finished with the documentation. It's up to the lawyer to come and pick it up and serve the notices to these institutions.
Do we have an idea how long after these institutions have been served will take for him to be a free man? Yeah,
the lawyer, once he's done with serving these institutions, he told me that it wouldn't take more than a day to
let him out.
Yeah, to let Charles Entry get out of prison.
And when he goes out, from your interaction with Francis Xavier, his lawyer, do we know if he'll be taken straight to the psychiatric hospital?
That is the first point of call. From prison, he will be moved straight to the psychiatric hospital, where he was going to get the examination that is required, because that's a directive given by the High Court when he quashed the 10-year sentence. So from prison, Charles Entry will be sent straight to the Mental Health Authority, and specifically at the psychiatric hospital, where he will receive some mental treatment.
And from, again, your interaction with Francis Xavier, what will the examination, what's the point of the examination?
Exactly.
He's a free man anyway.
Yeah, he's a free man, but, you know, there is a clause there, free from prison, but your next point of call is the psychiatric hospital.
So it's sort of an order.
Yeah, that's the order given by the courts. Not free to go and walk on the streets. No, you are free from prison. Go to the psychiatric hospital. Let us have a review of your mental status, and then
and then what? That's the question many people would ask. And then what?
Yeah, that is a bit difficult to get. What's next? Is it going? But there could be a retrial. That one we have to make it clear that there could be a retrial after the examination. If it turns out that Charles Entry knew exactly what he was doing when he took the gun to court, then the AG has a strong case of going back to court to get him retrial.
Okay.
Something which the AG
hold your horses. Charles Entry is a free man on a certain condition.
Exactly.
And that is dependent on the outcome of the psychiatric evaluation.
Exactly.
And so if he's cleared of any psychiatric problem, he could
go back to the retrial, which
That's
the AG is fighting for, could happen, and then Charles Entry could go back to prison.
But then if they confirm that he indeed has a mental disorder, he would stay there.
Exactly, receive treatment.
Not go back to prison.
He's not going back to prison if it turns out that he has a problem upstairs.
Well, I'm wondering what his lawyer will say about all of this.
Yeah, the lawyer is resolute. He believes that Charles Entry is not mentally stable, and that is why he's following this case and follow him wherever he wants to go with this case. He believes that the guy is not, psychologically, is not sound, you know, so that's why he's still chasing and wants justice to be served on Charles Entry. So we were waiting to see what the lawyer will do next.
But this is a story that gained a lot of, you know, popularity. The guy became Charles Entry, is now a known name. Let's speculate on you know, the reactions from people to this, that his release is hinged on a certain condition.
Yeah.
From what it appears, many think that this guy is indeed crazy.
Yeah, that is the perception out there, and that is what most people believe in, that Charles Entry is not sound. And so this is just a formal thing that the court is following. It's like a procedure. Now, you know, this is not the first, psychiatric evaluation that's going to be taken on Charles Entry. If you remember, there is this institution somewhere that conducted examination on him, and the outcome was that Charles Entry is not mentally stable. He knew what he was doing, but he didn't know the implication that would come next, you understand? So this will be like a second mental evaluation on Charles Entry, this time in a public institution. The first one happened at a private institution. So let's wait and see what happens. It's kind of
a do or die for Charles Entry. Well, we will see how it pans out with the psychiatric evaluation. But thank you very much, Latif Idris, for that latest developments. Now, the New Patriotic Party presidential candidate, Nana Akufo-Addo, is expected in the Volta region later today. Correspondent Ivy Setoji has been speaking to some residents. And Ivy, thanks for joining us. Tell us what they've been telling you.
Some residents have been telling me that they are really accepting him anyway, but what they want him to do something different. They should address the issue of road networks in the Volta region. They should also address the issues of youth unemployment in the region. And they are also trusting him that they will do something for the region if they become the president. And so they are really accepting. They want something different.
I mean, what exactly do they want Nana Akufo-Addo to do for the region if he becomes president? I'm asking.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Ivy?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes. Kindly give me specifics. What exactly do they want Akufo-Addo to do for them in the event he becomes president?
Well, what they are saying also have issues, not unemployment. Those are issues Western wanting to address. For the meantime, as they expect him to talk to them better today. So these are the issues the Western are asking for.
Okay, Ivy, and any information as to when exactly Akufo-Addo will be arriving?
Well, he will be arriving any moment from now. So to go to the Awomasia of Ango, to be free to check, to pay homage to him. Then from there to proceed to Texas North and Happy, and then also to be in some parts of the Volta. So that is this itinerary for the day. So, and some few moments he will be arriving in Angoga in the Tekka municipality.
Okay, we'll leave it here. That's Ivy Setoji from the Volta region, where MPP flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo is expected to arrive. Well, this is Joy News Today with me, Francisca Kakwafos, and when we'll come back, we'll be talking about President Mahama, who is expected to pick a nomination form for the NDC flag bearership. Welcome back. Time now for business. Finance Minister Seth Terkper has been telling Ghanaians about some new measures government is taking to help stabilize the economy. The minister's presentation has been influenced by current developments on the world markets, which appear to have negative impact on the local economy. Mr. Terkper said Ghana's economy and currency were not the only ones in the world facing challenges. He cited China's stock exchange, which saw a dip, and the devaluation of their currency. The minister added the UK and the US have suffered similar fates. Mr. Terkper listed short, medium and long-term measures to fix the economy. They include diversifying the economy, boosting exports, fast-tracking the Exim Bank bill, others sector investments, among others. He noted the effect of the tumbling world oil prices on Ghana's reserves, and he said revenues had increased and maintained Ghana is not broke.
The global, fronts. As you know, we have often used the IMF World Economic Outlook as guidance together with World Bank and other publications, as guidance for how we evaluate the global economy and how we use them, to reflect domestic policies. As at the time we did a Midday review, until now the most authoritative document, World Economic Outlook. So you will see that in most of our presentations we quote the July World Economic Outlook, which showed, that global growth, was slowing down. Furthermore, growth in emerging and developing economies in particular have also been slowing down. This is significant because over the period of the financial crisis, you would agree with me that the emerging economies, China, India, Brazil, and on the continent South Africa, and then others like Turkey, the rest have been strong, and therefore they have led, global growth. But these economies have also been suffering, lately. And therefore it's important when we look at these developments to come to an understanding that, let's go to the previous graph. Yes, to note that, the slowdown in the economy from a global, emerging and sub-Saharan African perspective is either flat for sub-Saharan Africa, or you can see going down. But this is even before developments in August, and the World Economic Output has not yet been updated. We all know what happened in August, beginning first with China, where the Shanghai Stock Exchange in particular started to, rattle and move downwards. Various attempts were made at intervention by the Chinese authorities. This could not hold, and what happened was since then China has moved to devalue its currency, and then also to reduce interest rates. Some are of the view that it's a reversal of their domestic policy. The policy towards shifting towards domestic consumption back to export-led growth. Because when you devalue your currency, as they did, and as Vietnam did, and also Kazakhstan and other economies, it boosts exports. So China has been going through this. In the past, China has had some of this slowing down of growth. But now there's a concern that fundamentally there may be something fundamental with the Chinese economy. And that is what began to affect, the stock exchange. It's a week and a half ago, almost every single stock exchange in the world, major stock exchange, including ours, showed a softening. During that same period, every major currency, showed a decline. And so, go to the previous one, please. No, previous.
The Ghana Employers Association is worried that many graduates from universities in the country are not competent for the job market. Employers are consequently spending so much to provide them with proper training. The Employers Association says government must take on that cost of training graduates.
The 55th Annual General Meeting of the Employers Association is on the theme, Job Creation, a critical tool for economic growth and development. The meeting looked at ways to empower the youth to be self-employed. According to the chief executive of the Kama Group of Companies, Dr. Michael Ajikumadu, entrepreneurs occupy a central position in the market economy, with over 80 of jobs in Ghana created by these entrepreneurs. He is therefore calling on the youth to stop the over-reliance on government jobs.
All the raw materials that we have here, the cocoa, the same thing. Go to Craig in Tafo, and they have 23 different products that can come out of cocoa, including gin, brandy. We can even get liquid soap from cocoa. Nobody's taking advantage of it. Employers Association is about time.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Employers Association is worried about university graduates. First Vice President of the Ghana Employers Association, Dr. Edu Jemfi, tells Joy Business the situation is costing a lot of employers so much to train these graduates after employing them.
The people who are coming from out of school now don't have the competencies that as expectations of industry. How do we then partner these universities to train the kind of skilled people with the competence that we need, so that we can change in terms of the graduates that are coming from school to be able to meet the market that's available? Because if you come out of school, yes, you might have a certificate, but certificates do not create employment. It's your competence that create employment for you. So what we are looking for is the means and way the association members can take students in through their internship, by our relationship with National Service Secretariat, to take these students, train them in attachment situations, so that when they come on board, they will be suitable for the jobs that are available.
And that's it for business. Baba Tando comes up with sports. And that's it for Joy News today. You can go to myjoyonline.com for more news. I'm Francisca Kakwa-Force, and thank you very much for your company.